Hey there! Breaking news for all Social Security, SSDI, and SSI beneficiaries. An unprecedented $8,000 increase could be approved this week, potentially changing the financial landscape for millions of Americans in 2025. Are you one of the 70 million Americans who rely on these benefits? This could be the biggest payment boost we've seen in decades, and I'm bringing you all the details right now. Before we dive deeper into this game-changing update, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss crucial information about your benefits that could put thousands of extra dollars in your pocket. The rumors have been swirling for months, but now we have concrete information from reliable sources on Capitol Hill that lawmakers are finalizing a massive reform package that includes an $8,000 annual increase for qualifying beneficiaries. This isn't just another cost of living adjustment, this is a fundamental restructuring of how benefits are calculated and distributed. Why is this happening now? With inflation putting unprecedented pressure on fixed-income recipients and the upcoming election cycle, legislators from both parties are scrambling to support America's seniors, disabled workers, and vulnerable populations. The timing couldn't be more critical as millions struggle to maintain their standard of living amid rising costs for healthcare, housing, and everyday essentials. The proposed $8,000 increase would be distributed as approximately $667 in additional monthly payments for qualifying recipients. This is substantially more than typical annual adjustments, which have averaged around 2 to 3% in recent years. Have you been keeping track of your benefit statements? If approved, this increase would be reflected in payments beginning January 2025, with potential retroactive adjustments being discussed for implementation as early as next quarter. The impact would be immediate and substantial, especially for the nearly 40% of beneficiaries who rely on Social Security for at least half of their income. Let's break down exactly who would qualify for this increase. Current plans indicate that all SSDI recipients would be eligible for the full amount, while traditional Social Security retirement beneficiaries would receive a scaled amount based on their current benefit level, with those receiving the minimum benefit seeing the full $8,000 annual increase. SSI recipients would see their monthly maximum federal payment increase by a proportional amount, potentially lifting many above the poverty line for the first time. Are you wondering if you'll need to take action to receive this increase? According to the current proposal, all adjustments would be automatic, requiring no additional application or paperwork from current beneficiaries. The legislative package includes several other significant reforms beyond the headline $8,000 increase. These include an overhaul of the Windfall Elimination Provision, WEP, and Government Pension Offset, GPO, that have long reduced benefits for public servants. Additionally, the earnings test limit would be substantially increased, allowing seniors who continue working to keep more of their benefits. For those on SSDI, the trial work period would be extended from 9 to 24 months, providing greater flexibility for disabled Americans to attempt returning to work without immediately losing their benefits. Have you been affected by any of these provisions? If so, the relief could be substantial and immediate. Funding for this historic increase is at the center of intense debate. The proposed legislation includes several revenue-generating provisions, including raising the cap on income subject to Social Security taxes, currently set at $168,600 for 2025. The new proposal would increase this cap to $250,000, with a gradual phase-in to minimize economic disruption. Additionally, certain investment income would become subject to Social Security taxation for the first time, primarily affecting high-income earners. These funding mechanisms have garnered surprising bipartisan support as concern grows about the long-term solvency of the Social Security Trust Fund, which current projections show will be depleted by 2034 without significant intervention. The timing of this potential approval is particularly notable. Congressional sources indicate that a vote could come as early as this week, with implementation planning already underway at the Social Security Administration. Why the rush? With economic indicators showing continued pressure on fixed-income Americans and midterm elections approaching, there's substantial political momentum behind providing immediate relief. Furthermore, the administrative logistics of implementing such a large-scale change require months of preparation, making prompt approval essential for the planned January 2025 rollout. Consumer advocates and senior organizations have responded with cautious optimism about the proposed increase, while acknowledging the significance of an $8,000 boost. Many point out that it only partially addresses the gap between current benefit levels and actual living costs in many parts of the country. The average Social Security retirement benefit currently stands at approximately $1,900 monthly, meaning even with this historic increase, many beneficiaries would still face difficult financial choices. Have you found your current benefits sufficient to cover your basic needs? This is a question at the heart of the ongoing policy debate. For those receiving SSDI benefits, the impact could be even more profound. The average SSDI benefit of approximately $1,500 monthly has left many disabled Americans struggling to meet basic needs, particularly as healthcare costs continue to rise. An $8,000 annual increase represents a proportionally larger boost for this group, potentially transforming their financial security. The proposed changes to work incentives could also provide SSDI recipients with greater opportunities to supplement their benefits without risking their essential support systems. Is financial independence something you've struggled with while on disability benefits? This reform package aims to address these challenges directly. The approval process faces several potential hurdles despite broad conceptual support. Budget hawks from both parties have raised concerns about long-term funding implications, while some progressive lawmakers argue that even this substantial increase doesn't go far enough to address systemic inequities in the benefits system. The legislative calendar is also increasingly crowded as other priorities compete for attention before the upcoming recess. Do you think Congress will prioritize this issue over other pressing concerns? The answer likely depends on continued public pressure and advocacy from beneficiary organizations. Implementation challenges loom large for the Social Security Administration if approval comes through this week. The agency has been operating under staffing constraints for years, with field offices still recovering from pandemic-related disruptions. Officials have indicated that systems updates and training would begin immediately upon approval, with dedicated teams focused on ensuring a smooth rollout. Beneficiaries would likely receive official notification of their increases in November or December, following the traditional schedule for benefit adjustment announcements. Have you experienced delays or administrative challenges with your benefits in the past? The implementation plan includes specific provisions to minimize such disruptions. Financial advisors caution that while this potential increase represents welcome relief, beneficiaries should approach their financial planning carefully. The additional $8,000 annually could impact eligibility for other income-based programs such as Medicaid, SNAP benefits, and housing assistance. Additionally, for those not yet claiming benefits, the increase might affect optimal claiming strategies. Are you currently deciding when to start taking your benefits? This development could significantly impact your calculations and might warrant consultation with a financial professional specialized in retirement planning. The international context of this benefit increase is worth noting as well. Among developed nations, the United States has traditionally provided more modest public pension benefits relative to pre-retirement earnings. Even with this proposed $8,000 increase, American Social Security benefits would remain lower as a percentage of average wages than similar programs in many European countries. However, the reform would represent a significant step toward closing this gap and would position the American system more competitively on the global stage. Have you wondered how our retirement system compares to those in other countries? This reform begins to address some of those disparities. As we await the final vote this week, it's essential for all beneficiaries to stay informed about these potential changes and their implications. Subscribe to this channel for daily updates as this historic legislation progresses through the final approval stages. I'll be monitoring developments around the clock and bringing you the latest information as soon as it becomes available. Have your questions ready, as I'll be addressing the most common concerns in upcoming videos. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to maximizing your benefits and securing your financial future. This potential $8,000 increase represents more than just additional money in your monthly check. It symbolizes a fundamental shift in how our society values and supports its seniors, disabled workers, and vulnerable populations. After decades of incremental adjustments that barely kept pace with inflation, this reform package acknowledges the real financial challenges faced by benefit recipients and takes meaningful steps to address them. As we close this update, I encourage you to share this information with friends and family members who might be affected by these changes. The more informed our community becomes, the more effectively we can advocate for our collective interests.